Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, o see them yopo.
Memo akwa ba edeba PENDREAM TV so metro say na any day kind out here I will be subscribe to channel no click bell no so say the news to us on sabetimi aka nte GPGC Judgement Dept aban asha say otua a wadi kan atua mu $20 million no and a former Minister of Energy Honorable Jinapor abontin abekasa we interview a oni Randy abeye on say sa Judgement Dept it was avoidable na it has happened because of a family feud among the president family no chirema sa contract here aban yetwam ehun hia se nkomo betwam isan say contract ni nyina sa 4 years na omo time omo ni GPGC sign na nanka omo pe provide a power for 4 years aban betu omo ka $134 million nanso omo prevent omo a contract ehun ni asem bia nanso because of omo family feud nti omo be cancel say Ghana ye betu Judgement Dept of $170 million at the ama GPGC foi because of Akuffo Addo nebusuafo bi ntokwa omoko na menkasa bebre o cancel bebre fa sa cancellation of this particular contract as Akuffo Judgement Dept kese we edi abre o man wa abre say economy ni yeni sky edi bu economy na obi ayebo apaye a cancel contract ama o man no abebo kase because in free nipa bi botom na say taxpayers money and o mudi kotu asa aka no na ya reho ye pa otie nchechemu aye John Jinapor edema na menkasa bebre video no a mepese mekwa akobo na so watie.
I'm sure that you've heard about a judgment debt. A judgment debt, huge one, millions of dollars, and the fact that we've even started paying by paying some $20 million. And we know our history with judgment debts. We all remember Woyome and all that about judgment debts. How did this one come about? And how come in such austerity we're having to pay this kind of money? Now, I have with me on Zoom the Honorable John Abdullah Jinapor, who was a Deputy Minister of Power and also of Energy at the time that this contract was signed. He's currently the ranking member on Energy and Mines in Ghana's Parliament. Good morning, JJ.
Good morning, Randy. Is my voice clear?
Oh, okay. All right. I like your library.
You do some stuff here.
Anyway, how did we land ourselves with this judgment debt?
Thank you, Randy. As you may recall, in June 2015, the Mahama-led government signed a power purchase agreement with GPGC, ostensibly known as Ghana Power Generation Company, for 107 megawatt plant to provide emergency power for 4 years. 4 years. After 4 years, we're done with them. If you look at the contract itself, you had a capital recovery, that's the cost of investment, at 3.7 US cents per kilowatt hour, and O&M, which is operation and maintenance, because for the plant to be available, you have to continue to operate and maintain it at 0.3 cents. That comes to 4 US cents per kilowatt hour. Fast forward, they were in the process of deploying the machines when we lost the election. The MPP government took over.
When was this 4 year supposed to kick off?
Supposed to kick off around 2016, getting to the ending of 2016.
Okay.
But it had a grace period, so they could move into 2017. Okay. When the MPP administration took over, they decided that they will renegotiate some of these power purchase agreements. Indeed, the president himself did indicate that they were going to make some huge savings from the renegotiation. And so a committee was constituted to engage in the renegotiation. And when you renegotiate, either you get a reduction in the quotation or you stagger the deployment. That is to say, if you were to come in 2017, we could negotiate with you to come in 2020 or 2018. by which time you will be needed. Strangely, for some very strange reasons, even as the negotiation was ongoing, on 13 February 2018, the Honorable Bochaja calls to write a letter to GPGC, and I have the letter here, as you can see. It's from the Ministry of Energy, and it's signed by Honorable Bochaja. And the main reason, if you go to the second page, the nearby quotes, similarly, although it is a requirement to obtain siting and construction permits from the Energy Commission prior to construction and installation of the plant for production and supply of power, GPGC commenced construction on site without the requisite siting and construction permits. Accordingly, GPGC's construction activities are illegal. In view of the above, the government has taken a decision to terminate the agreement. And so, even whilst they were negotiating, Bochaja wrote a letter terminating the contract, citing illegalities. And so, GPGC then took the matter to the International Court of Arbitration. And that is where I find it worrying. If you read the entire 191-page document, it's quite obvious that the legal team of government did not put up a good show. They were either late in submission documents, they were not responding to the necessary requests and applications, and eventually, Ghana was slapped with a cost of 170 million US dollars. And if you delay in paying the 170 million US dollars, it will keep accruing interest. Randy, our position is that this was avoidable. This was needless, it's unfortunate, and it's a huge drain to the national purse. This idea where governments take over and they decide to terminate contracts arbitrarily leads to huge cost to the state. Because if we had negotiated with them, we probably would have gotten a better deal. Or at worst, and I have some detailed calculation here before me. This is an appendix from the contract, and the contract specifies exactly how you calculate the capacity charge. Even if we had allowed them to go on with this contract, it meant that we're going to pay a maximum of 4 US cents per kilowatt hour for the 4 years. Assuming without admitting that the plant will be available the whole of the 4 years, not even one day would the plant go down for routine maintenance, which usually is the case, then it means that you have 8,760 hours in a year. If you multiply that by the guaranteed capacity, and that's where people make mistake, the guaranteed capacity is 92%. So you have to take 0.92% of 107 megawatts. You don't take 100%. I've seen some analysis done by Asasi Radio, completely wrong, completely out of touch. The assumptions are baseless. And when you do that, the total amount will come to 137 million US dollars. And so even if we had allowed it to run so that we can even consume that power, the maximum would have paid whilst using the plant will be 137 million US dollars. In fact, GPGC even discounted some days that they will go off. And so they calculated this as 134 million US dollars. And this is what was presented to arbitration. And arbitration indeed awarded them the $134 million and additional charges plus interest, which brought it to 170 million US dollars. We must learn from this as a country. And I think that those who took that decision ought to be held liable today, tomorrow, or one day. We can't allow people to abuse their power, use discretionary power, and cause such huge losses to the state when something better could have been done. It's the same thing with the gas sales. Sahara, they terminated Sahara. That also went to arbitration. We are paying huge sums. There's another one lacking, which is ENI. And based on what I've seen at arbitration, we should not be surprised if we have similar judgment debts. For a country that is broke to this level, even $1 means a lot. So if you are losing $170 million because a minister decided that on his own accord, he will terminate a contract that has been approved by Parliament, for me, it gives cause for worry.
JJ, so we're paying for the power that would have been produced over the 4-year period that we would have consumed, we abrogated the contract and we are paying for all that power that we never got to consume, but would have consumed if the contract had not been abrogated, plus interest. So that's about 130 million, and other things that the legal fees and others that the arbitration has awarded the company. That's exactly what is happening to us now.
That's exactly what is happening, and I have the full judgment with me. It's about a 191-page document. I can share with you and your panel members.
So
if the plan had been deployed, that is, if they had incurred the cost of construction, the cost of employing workers, the cost of security, the cost of fuel, which is the O&M, is known as operation maintenance, fixed operation and maintenance cost, and the cost of generating that power to us, the capacity component for the whole 4 years would have been 134 million US dollars. And as I tell you, as a member of the Mines and Energy Committee, they were ready and willing to negotiate with government. They had indicated that they were ready to wait and willing to negotiate with government. Government unilaterally decided that they would terminate the contract. And even Dr. Hinkre's report, that is the committee set up by the minister himself, Dr. Hinkre's report recommended that the minister should negotiate with GPGC so that there can be some cost savings. Because you could sit with them and say that, look, we may not need you after all, or we'll need you tomorrow. Or because we may not need you, can we reduce the cost? Because construction and all those costs would have been avoided. But more importantly, all these legal fees that we've had to pay, including what we pay to our external lawyers, when you factor the cost in and the cost of travel by the legal team of government, up and down, processing and all that, you will not be surprised if you'll be running into about $200 million. And for me, this was avoidable. It was just avoidable, Rani.
Now you referred to the letter terminating the agreement. Now, this is a post that was put up by the Vice President of Imani, Bryce Simmons, a couple of days ago. It says, in short, for 3 straight months, the machinery of the government of Ghana could not be revved up to generate a single letter, despite multiple ministers and the presidency itself fully involved in cranking the gears and winding the shafts. The result, a $170 million judgment debt. And it goes on to say, when you read the $170 million judgment debt on GPGC, you will understand how people sleep on the job to engineer financial hemorrhage. The value of the contract was $134 million if it worked, without discounting for my economic benefit. We don't know the accrued interest yet. But he quotes a portion of the judgment, which speaks to the reasons that we gave for the termination. And I just want to read that part. That's Exhibit C 160, paragraph 131. It says, on 13 March 2018, the GOG, that's Government of Ghana, right, advised GPGC that the Minister of Energy would be advising the Deputy Power Minister to write a memorandum to the Government of Ghana Cabinet and the President of Ghana requesting that the EPA be reinstated. On 15 March 2018, Mr. Opam confirmed to GPGC that he had been instructed by the Minister of Energy to prepare such a memorandum. On 16 March 2018, GPGC's team in Ghana again met with the Deputy Power Minister, who reassured GPGC that he was working on getting the EPA reinstated. By a letter dated 26 March 2018, 3 Crowns wrote on behalf of GPGC to the Government of Ghana reiterating the request made in GPGC's unanswered letter of 26 February 2018. On or around 28 March 2018, the Deputy Power Minister confirmed to GPGC that the Ministry of Energy was preparing a letter to the President strongly recommending that the EPA would be reinstated. On 4th April 2018, the Deputy Power Minister advised GPGC that the President had verbally approved of the reinstatement of the EPA and that he was working with Attorney General and the Energy Commission to do so. On 8th April 2018, following a number of meetings and calls with the Minister of Energy and his aides, Mr. Opam called GPGC to reiterate the Minister's intentions to reinstate the EPA as quickly as possible. On 2nd May 2018, the Deputy Power Minister again advised GPGC that while the Ministry of Energy was waiting for input from the Attorney General, the Ministry should write a letter to GPGC providing assurance that the EPA will be reinstated. On 3rd May 2018, the Minister of Energy wrote to GPGC to confirm that the Ministry was working on the issues raised in GPGC's letter of 26 February 2018 and will revert with its response soon. So, despite all these correspondences, we still wrote to them terminating on the basis of a EPA permit.
In fact, what you are reading, some of them even comes or post the termination.
Really?
So even after terminating, government assured them that they will reinstate it, because to reinstate something means that you've terminated it. And government kept assuring them, especially through the minister and his aides, that look, the termination was wrong, it was improper, and that they will reinstate it. But you see, Randy, your program is a very serious program, and sometimes I have to exercise a bit of discretion and caution. But I can tell you, and I'm telling you this honestly, and I say this in all honesty before God, that this contract was terminated because of a family feud.
Because of what?
It had nothing to... A family feud.
Family feud.
Feud.
Amongst who or between who?
Amongst the president's family. I'm telling you. I'm telling you for a fact. I'm telling you. And I say this in all honesty before God. Because we are all Ghanaians and sometimes we ought to be honest. You can't take your family issues and cause the state such huge losses. And I can tell you, Boachaja was very uncomfortable when he was terminating this agreement. Because from all the facts available, and even at arbitration, it was so obvious that government had no case. Just that somebody thought he had power, and so he would teach another person a lesson. And it's ended us in this very, very, very serious and difficult situation. Because why would you do this? I mean, if this was your company, Randy, if you were the shareholder of a company called Ghana, and you entered into an agreement with a company to say provide a generator or power service to you, and you terminate it and you would incur such a loss, would you have done that? It's because the money is not coming from somebody's pocket. And because nobody will be held liable, people just do what they want. Look, I feel very, very sad, and I think that it's unfortunate that we allow people to go away with such reckless decisions that affects the whole nation. At least, try the option of negotiation first. It's a basic cardinal principle in contracting that if you have a problem with your other party, the first line of action is to engage that party. Only after negotiation is failed that you move to the step of terminating. And as you read, and they are all in the award of arbitration and award the judgment here, that even after termination, government officials, most of them felt that look, it was not proper and that they should reinstate the contract. Because in November 2017, the Minister of Energy reported to Parliament that the PPA committee report had recommended that 4 PPAs with a combined capacity of 1,800 megawatts be deferred until 2018-2022. And GPGC is one of those companies. This is in November 2017. The minister came to Parliament and told us that, look, the committee has recommended that GPGC should be deferred to 2018. And GPGC agreed that indeed they would defer to 2018, by which time government believes that we'll need their services. In 2018, when they are ready and about to deploy the power, you terminate the contract. I mean, this is sad. It might not be my money. It might not be Kenneth Orete's money. But this is the money of the people of Ghana. And 170 million in this current state can do a lot for this country.
Anyway, let's leave it here. We'll get back to you on some other issues as far as the sector is concerned. But are you thinking of doing something through Parliament, asking some questions through Parliament, getting government officials to come explain or justify why we should be paying close to $200 million for a decision to terminate a contract?
Exactly. The minority leader caused me to prepare a paper for him. I've done a memo for him. I've done a memo for the party and the flag bearer as well. A very simplified one, just a 3-pager with all the simplified details. And so I'm sure that the minority leader will take it up. And it's not just this, also that of Sahara. Because when we did a Sahara deal, the NPP administration terminated it. There's a judgment debt. They now decided to do Tema LNG. And it's turned out to be the most expensive. Not just expensive, Tema LNG is not supplying the gas as we speak. And the capacity charges are due. I mean, you see, it's sad. It's not about even NDC MPP. I mean, we've also worked in companies before. In the corporate world, you can't do this.
What was the reason for the termination of Sahara?
They said we don't need the gas. You terminate it and then go and sign another gas contract with the same model.